I wanted to get into kind of like your background, like for music though, like kind of like where you come from and how you kind of like grew into like some of your inspirations and how you like developed.
Well, you know, it's funny. I think what started me was buying a drum set, and the only reason I ever bought a drum set was because of the game Rock Band, believe it or not. It was a big, I remember when that game came out and you saw the drums that came with it and you saw the guitar and there was a microphone. I remember I made my mom, like we were gonna go out and find that game. I've never done Black Friday in my damn life. I've never done it. I probably never will again.
Yeah.
But that Black Friday, I remember going to going to Target.
You're fine.
Okay, cool. Going to Target at midnight and just waiting there all night. And they didn't have it, having to go to Best Buy afterwards, just so intent on getting that game. And then from there, you know, I bought a real drum set because I was so inspired by that game and the feelings that I felt from it, I guess. That for Christmas one year, I got a drum set. And to be honest, you know, I set it up and it sat in the basement for a long, long time until for one of my parents' anniversaries, my father bought my mother and the rest of the family tickets to the Police reunion show that was happening in Atlanta. And the Police was a band I knew peripherally because my parents had really loved them. My mom is a huge fan of that band. Mm-hmm. And Stuart Copeland is one of the most unique drummers that I've ever listened to, really. The way that he looks at a rhythm, the way that he has musical influences from both the West Indies and from the Middle East. There's so much about that band that seeing them in such a close parameter and seeing how this drummer operated, he would break sticks. He had a huge bucket of sticks. He would break them every song. And just when he did, he'd swing them straight up in the air. They would flip around, grab a new one and get going again. And I was like, man, this guy is something else. So it took me to the drum kit, and that started me as a drummer. Now, what's funny about that story is years later, you know, I can only see my family, my father's side of the family in Iran in a certain number of ways. And one year we had a big family reunion in Istanbul, Turkey. And I was sitting in the lobby of that hotel, and there was a big jazz festival that was happening in Istanbul that summer. And I look across the lobby, and it's Stuart Copeland, the same guy who started me playing music probably 4 or 5 years before that, sitting in the lobby. And I turned to my sister and I start freaking out. I said, Sarah, that's him right there. She walks up to him and she goes, excuse me, is your name Stuart? He goes, yes, it is. Me and my mom walk up. She goes, no, he's the reason that he became a drummer. You are. And he looked at my mom and he said, don't blame me for that.
And now, performing the very first original song ever performed for this show that still currently does not have a name, I introduced Matteen Zibanejadrad and his song, Vivans.
It's hard to find yourself way down inside yourself. The motivation seems to melt away. But when you know your worth and your place on this earth, your self-reluctance will begin to fade. And ooh, and I know that I can be someone. Be someone. Yeah. Ooh, and I know that I just need someone. Be someone. Not just anyone. Be someone. Vivans. your head that's telling you that you are gonna fail. Never compare yourself, inconvenience yourself. Shed the weight and I swear you will say yeah. Ooh, and I know, and I know, and I know that I can be someone. Be someone. Ooh, I know, I know, I know. I just need someone, not just anyone. That's what I got. Hope you liked it. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to this original performance by Matteen performing his song Vivance. Matteen is also a bassist in a local band called Help Computer, which is looking to put out an album soon. Unfortunately, due to the current coronavirus circumstances, Help Computer was not able to have the album release show that they were hoping for. So if you would like to help support the band, Help the Computer, you can click the link below to their Bandcamp, where they have their latest EP, where you can go and listen to a sample of their music. You can also follow them on Facebook and or Instagram to catch up on the latest for their new album called Pixelidian.